Welcome to United Constitutional Patriots Radio Show with your host, Nuclear Warrior. We have lots of news today to cover and hopefully some cues. So now I will turn it over to Nuclear Warrior. So, Nuclear Warrior, go ahead and take over.
Okay, Pete. Thank you. Evening, ladies and gentlemen, fellow patriots, veterans, United Constitutional Patriots members, and you, the all-important general public. I don't have a whole lot of new news for today concerning the commander, although he is still in custody, of course. According to him, he has had medical treatment as of Wednesday anyway. Last show mentioned that to us. And things are still pending about any bail hearing, any trial, et cetera. No news coming from his attorney. So, yeah, things are today as they were Wednesday. So that's about all I have about that. And, of course, some of you probably saw the news today involving Jerry Nadler. He's going to resign the chairmanship of the House Judiciary Committee. He'll complete his term as a congressman for the District of New York. That's still in question, whether or not he'll be able to. Confidential medical sources are reporting that he suffered a stroke at a press conference, and that was pretty apparent if you were watching it on live news today. It looked like he just kind of passed out there in front of the microphone, and this is what we know about it so far. In other news, and this is kind of ironic, and preacher can highlight on this a little bit. I guess Missouri signed legislation. Their governor signed legislation pro-abortion, and at that same moment in time, there was a tornado that went through Missouri. I don't know the exact city, but I thought it was kind of ironic that God has given them a warning signal, so to speak, that maybe they should rethink their plan. Theresa May is resigning as the Prime Minister of Great Britain. That's been 8 months or so with this Brexit deal that she's been trying to get through, and every time it gets failed in the vote, they somehow come up with an extension to take another go at it further down the calendar. Well, it looks to me like maybe that whole fiasco was done, and Britain is probably going to exit the European Union. So we'll more on that as it becomes available. Excuse me. Let's see, what else? Things are still ongoing as far as global economy, or not global economy. Yeah, well, global economy and value-backed currencies around the world. Not much news out on that lately either. It's still an ongoing thing. The president, of course, is traveling. I don't know the destinations. I just got home from work a little bit ago, and I'm telling you what I've learned in the last hour. So I'm going to hand this over to Preacher. He may have some more news that has escaped me so far. Preacher, what have you got for us?
Well, sir, yeah, I do have a few things. First of all, let me take a step back for a moment, folks, and discuss what Nuclear Warrior was talking about there just a while ago with the state of Missouri. Actually, what happened was this is where it gets interesting, folks. If you understand the spiritual aspect of life, the spiritual aspect of just about everything in life, you get to a point where you can see these things, and you have to understand that whatever God has for us, the devil can mimic. And there's a lot of things that God does, the devil can do it too. It may not be as God's is, but he can do it. Now, here's what I mean by that. Actually, in my home state of Missouri, the state of Missouri actually passed a bill to protect the babies. It was the heartbeat bill. Okay, so it's basically, I guess, what the so-called pro-choicers would call an anti-abortion bill. It was a pro-life bill that they passed, and right after that, the state of Missouri, which I'm still looking into to try to find out the extent of it, but Jefferson City was that's the capital. That was one of the cities that was hit. Jefferson City was hit. The state of Missouri was hit with a round of tornadoes. Now, Mark Taylor, Prophet Mark Taylor, who I've talked about on here before, hit on that, and he said that right after that, that same line of storms was headed for D.C., and they actually had, for a point in time, they had tornado warnings in Washington, D.C. until we got the word last night. It came out about the D class, that the president went ahead and ordered the D class, and then the line of storms just kind of died off. So, Prophet Mark Taylor believes, and I believe, that this was not a warning from God, but that this was an attempt by the wicked one, the other guy, okay, to try to stop something. May well have been, because it was a pro-life bill that Missouri passed. Now, on the other side of the coin, nuclear war told you about United States Representative Jerry Nadler. Now, Jerry Nadler is the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee that have been for a while now, since the Mueller report, which they reject, came out, has been trying to take down the President of the United States in any way, shape, or form that they can get the job done. Okay? And I mean, they've been really coming at the president, accusing him of a cover up and all this, that, and the other. Well, I think in this case, God had enough, because I can tell you this: what happened to Jerry Nadler at that press conference this morning, and it looks like he may have had a stroke, and they're just not announcing it yet because, of course, he's a Democrat. So they do that. They haven't even announced that Ruth Bader Ginsburg is dead, because she's one of theirs. They're trying to keep her alive. Okay? Well, what happened with Jerry Nadler this morning wasn't just a health scare, as they're publicizing it in the press, or have been. No. Ladies and gentlemen, what happened to him was a warning. It was a warning from God. Because let me just tell you, whether you want to believe it or not, and we weren't voting for a pastor, we were voting for a president. But Donald John Trump is God's anointed man to be in the position that he is in right now. And when God says in his word, touch not mine anointed, nor do my prophet harm, he means it. Time and time and time again, since the 2016 election process started, time and time and time again, there have been people that have come after the president, gone after the president, attacked the president. And one thing after another has happened to them. Either their careers went down the toilet, they broke a leg, something, over and over and over again. Some people don't learn. I remember that maybe somebody, one of my colleagues, can tell me her name. That blonde-headed gal that was so popular on Fox News at one time. I mean, her career was exploding. And she decided during the election process in 2016 she was going to go after Donald Trump for his supposedly hatred of women, which is not true. She decided she was going to go after him. And the morning of the debate that night, the first debate that night was going to be that night. That morning, she became deathly ill. And that was her warning: don't touch my anointed. Well, that night at the debate, she was sitting there with a blanket over her legs, young woman sitting there with a blanket over her legs and a bucket on the floor. Well, she was warned. That was her warning. Don't touch my anointed. Well, she did it anyway. And her careers went downhill and into the tubes ever since. And it's happened again and again and again. This thing with Jerry Nadler, exact same thing. So yes, we I can report to you that last night, I believe it was last night, word came out. President Trump has in fact, it is official, President Trump has in fact given the order to declassify everything. He wants it all declassified, and he gave the authority to declassify to the United States Attorney General Bill Barr. Now, this is interesting, ladies and gentlemen, because generally what they do is when it comes to declassification of classified documents, classified intelligence, they usually go through the National Director of Intelligence, which is Dan Coates. Okay? But in this case, the president went around him and went directly to the Attorney General and gave the Attorney General the authority to declassify all this stuff, which means, guess what? It's all coming out. Okay? And he has given the order to do that, and that is expected to begin at just any time. And so, along with that, we were supposed the Inspector General's report is supposed to be completely ready. They're finishing up preparations with it, and it's supposed to be coming out at any time. So, as they say, the boom is about to be lowered. Okay? It's fixing to happen, and it struck me interesting, ladies and gentlemen, that Q, I think some time ago, indicated that that at the time when it all started to come out, that the president would be safely out of the country. And this morning, President Trump got on board Air Force One and left for a diplomatic trip to the Empire of Japan. So he is now either headed for or in Japan at this moment as all of this stuff is about to come out. Now, we did receive last night as well, when this report came out, we received about 11 new Qs, which I will be going over in a little bit. I'm going to turn it back over to Nuclear Warrior for a time to see if he or anybody else has any more to input to give us tonight. And I will be back in a little while with the Qs. Back to you, Nuclear Warrior.
Okay, thank you, Preacher. Well, activity on the border is still ongoing. I have not seen any videos myself as of the last few days. With our move coming up and packing up this place, getting ready to move it, I've not had time to do a lot of research on border activities. However, we are seeing some new members applying both on our Facebook United Constitutional Patriots site and as well as over here on the MeWe site, getting a few more requests in to join. After trying to sort through all of those applications when we were pretty sure we were going to have our Facebook page canceled, we had an inrush on the MeWe site, and I was trying to get through all of those, and many of them were over 3 or 4 weeks old as I got to them. So if you have not been received on the MeWe United Constitutional Patriots site, you may reapply, answer the questions. I'll get the notification, and we'll try to get you on board there as well. I don't think the Facebook UCP site is in any danger of going away anytime soon. We've got people watching it for trolls and hate messaging and such of that nature, and taking care of that as it pops up. So that seems to be working well. The president also put into place here not too awfully long ago a new tech bias censorship reporting tool after Facebook banned an individual for 3 days for posting about Islamic terrorism. So that site is supposedly up and running now. If you've been censored for any reason, I'll try to put this link in the radio room here so somebody can post it on the comment section, and that'll be another tool at your disposal if you find yourself being censored. You're losing followers on Twitter, etc. There's probably a reason for that. If there's followers that have been there for a while and they're suddenly gone, they may be being removed by the Twitter folks without your knowledge. So enough on that. I don't know how many of you have been paying attention to any of the performing arts around the world, around the country, but Madonna, I guess, did a show at Eurovision in Israel. I really didn't like the program so much as I liked the message, and the message relates pretty much parallel with the book of Revelation, the Revelation of John. So if you're curious about that, I would suggest you go watch it. I think you can find it on YouTube under nowtheendbegins.com/Madonna-Eurovision-2019. That should lead you to the video in that I'm remarking on here. Like I say, I'm not a Madonna fan, and I don't think that the video itself is in good taste, but the message certainly seems to be on track. So for those of you who like to follow prophecy, like to follow Nostradamus, or follow the book of Revelation or the book of Daniel, etc., you may find this interesting. Okay, I'm getting a lot of posts in the MeWe site from different members. A lot of them are asking questions of what's the latest on the commander. Well, I've already hit on that. We don't know any more than we did on Wednesday, and I believe today is day number 45 for the impound of the vehicle. I don't know where we stand on that, getting it recovered. Perhaps somebody in the studio here can comment on that quickly. I'll open this up for anybody who has information on that, and they can hand it back to me when they're finished. Anybody know about that here?
What's that?
Whether or not this is the day 45 for the impound of the commander's truck?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're getting close. If this is not the day, and we're still accepting any donations for that, try to get that thing salvaged before it goes to abandoned vehicle sale by the city of Sunland Park, New Mexico. As far as donations for the commander's defense fund, I guess the latest news is that he's going to be released, charges dropped, etc., because of their failure to follow a due process and get him either charged and then trial date set. They didn't read him his rights at the proper moment. Just odds and ends of stuff that have piled up to make it look like he's being held as a political prisoner. But we do have a location for him now if you would care to send mail to him, support mail, what have you. It's Larry Hopkins. He's got a booking number of 10656023 in Cibola County Correctional Center. That's CIBOLA County Correctional Center. P.O. Box 3540, Milan, New Mexico. That's MILAN. Zip code is 87021. And I'm sure he'd like to hear from some of the folks that have been following us all these months. let him know that you're thinking about him. Enough on that, I guess. So, I'm fresh out of anything new. Anybody else have anything they want to bring up? My understanding that any personal property that is in the vehicle at the time that it goes up for auction is supposed to be returned to the individual or his assignee. Now, that's Texas law. I'm not sure if that's also true in New Mexico. Perhaps somebody in the New Mexico audience can answer that question. We don't know where a lot of stuff is, and the group that's down there just doesn't seem to want to relay any information about it. So until somebody such as myself or anybody else that wants to go down there and physically inspect and investigate, we're probably going to remain in the dark on that.
Mike Chin has got all that stuff at his place.
Yep, I knew that Chin did have a bunch of Johnny's other personal stuff there as well, like his computer, and I think some of the radio equipment. So it's probably everything that was, in donation wise that of any value. Mike Chin probably has taken care of that. I'm still curious about the location of the pop-up camper that we had at the base camp, and I'll have to ask Chin about that wherever it went. So, Preacher, you have something to add?
Well, not on that subject, no.
How about some Q drops?
Well, I have got some Q drops that I'll be getting to momentarily, and I also have a bit of an announcement. Tomorrow afternoon at 2:00 Eastern time. Now that's my time. 2:00 Eastern time. It'll be noon Central. I, as head of intelligence for United Constitutional Patriots, will be doing a Facebook live stream interview with a couple of friends of ours here at UCP. That is Stephen Philip Fox. He calls himself. Everybody knows him as Fester, and Eric Matthew Keenan, who has simulcasted with us here at United Constitutional Patriots Radio a time or two or three. And they have asked me to come on to their show, to their live stream, and to talk about this whole situation with John and what's happened with him, and to put out basically the truth on this man, because of course they've been hearing a lot of BS, and they know it's BS from people like Tim Stewart, okay, and so on and so forth, which is total garbage, okay. And they want somebody that knows John, is close to John, has worked with him closely. They wanted somebody to come on there with them and do a show with them and kind of give their listeners, which is like 30,000 strong at any one time, the true scoop. I talked to Stephen Fester Fox this afternoon at Facebook, the Facebook chat, or video chat, audio chat, and talked to him. And he's a guy that has put out a lot of memes over there on Facebook in support of John. One says Johnny Horton Jr., American hero. So these guys are truly 100% in back of us and backing John, and they want to get the truth out. They've also requested opportunity, and I think Nuclear Warrior and Doc Robinson will be taking advantage of that. They've requested the opportunity to do an interview with them as well because not only are they a very hardworking and very dear couple, and have worked as hard as anybody here at UCP to do whatever we've been able to do for John, but they're also angel parents. And Eric and Steve do a lot of work with the angel parents, and they want to get them on the air too. And I think they're fixing to take advantage of that. I posted Steven's phone number for him over there in the war room earlier so they can get a hold of him. But that's what I'll be doing tomorrow afternoon. And if you want to, I think Eric has reached his 5,000 friend limit. But if you want to friend Fester, I think they do the live stream at Fester Fox's Facebook page. If you want to friend Fester Fox, or if you want to join the group Bigfoot Patriot Network, there at Facebook, you can get the information on this show we're going to do tomorrow. So that is what I'll be doing tomorrow afternoon at 2:00 Eastern, noon Central, for those that want to try to tune in. Okay, now, we did receive some cues last night, just after we received the word that the president had given the orders to the Attorney General to declassify everything. And we start with Q 3336. Excuse me. And Q 3336 is a Fox News article that says Trump gives Attorney General Barr authority to declassify documents related to 2016 campaign surveillance. Okay. And Q then says panic in D.C. with D.C. in the kill box. Q. And then Q 3337, Q repeats, he reposts the Q from August the 31st, 2018, which says special approval, and it gives a number there, and then it says set up EX1, and then there's the Hill. Homeland Security confirms special entry for Russian, lawyer. Okay, Loretta Lynch, paper trail, special entry. Natalia Vesel Skanaya, or how you pronounce her name, Manafort, FISA warrant issued, approved Manafort, Mueller, Manafort, FISA warrant issued, approved Papadopoulos, Mueller, Papadopoulos. Now, this is the stuff that's fixing to come out. FISA warrant issued, approved, Page, Mueller, Page, FISA warrant issued, approved, Flynn, Mueller, Flynn. You must target, remove, and silence all those illegally targeted for FISA surveillance plus UK assistance plus FISA surveillance included, all upstream collection plus tangent contacts, umbrella surveillance. Foreign target designators create leapfrog hops and brackets to isolated real targets, non F underscore comms, SEC 702. Then there's an NSA.gov, link to an NSA.gov, they statements, something or other. And then there's P talks to X, X talks to Y, Y talks to Z, PXYZ, bulk data collection, umbrella, UK assist allows normal FISA law deconstruct. Deconstruct includes D2 underscore spy insert. Deconstruct includes non underscore FISA underscore warrant underscore spec underscore ops. Warrant underscore spec underscore ops classified public Q. And then Q says important to remember. Page is public. In other words, pages closed door testimony is public. The remainder are still classified, plus Cruz. Now remember, Ted Cruz was also illegally surveilled. Okay, and there was a reason for that, which we're coming to. Q. Okay, all right. Then an anon posts the Qs that had to do with Cruz. Okay, one was Q 2927. Okay, said POTUS formally announced his candidacy on June 16, 2015. Why did HRC campaign actively work to push POTUS as the right candidate for GOP? Why did Hillary Rodham Clinton campaign publicly attack POTUS opponents? Why did? Well, because they wanted Trump to be the candidate because they figured they could beat him, I guess. I don't know. Why did Hillary Rodham Clinton campaign want POTUS to be the nominee? Did the fake news play along? Think pre-nominee. What setup insurance file was created assuming POTUS would become the nominee? POTUS 1, Cruz 2. Was Cruz the target of an illegal separate spying campaign? And the answer is, of course, yes, he was. All right. And then the Anon says plus Cruz, and Q says follow the watch. Now we've all seen that watch. All right, Q 3339. Then an Anon post that says, is POTUS going to ask Queen about UK assist? Okay. And Q says foreign assistance underway with DOJ. And there's a Guardian.com article on Chief Robert Hannigan quits. That was the guy that was running the intelligence operation over there. And then he says, fly may fly. Well, today, May announced, the Prime Minister, May, announced that she is resigning as Prime Minister. That came today. Q. Okay, so it's all happening, folks. It's coming down. Okay, then Q 3340. Another Anon posted and said, posted Carter Page Anon, and Q says this. He says Carter Page public FISA, so that the documentation on the FISA on Carter Page has been made public. He said the remainder are still under classification until today. That was yesterday. Waterfall of proofs coming post D class. Q. Okay. So Q's promising a lot coming. Okay. Then we had Q3341. All right. And this has to do with, I'm thinking of his name, WikiLeaks. Julian Assange. This has to do with Julian Assange. And he says, under protection, threat is real. Key to DNC source, hack 187. Well, the DNC source, hack 187, his name was Seth Rich. Okay, Q. So it's all coming out, folks. It's going to come down on their heads right now. It's coming down. All right, then we have Q3342, and one of the Anons posted a Q from April the 15th, 2018. This was number 1164, and it says reread Five Eyes, avoid U.S. data collection laws. Hussein, public dossier, FISA, not public, Five Eyes, UK, Australia, POTUS targeting using pushed Russian decoy meetings, campaign insertions. Hussein, Hillary Rodham Clinton, Loretta Lynch, Brennan Clapper, National Security, White House Situation Room, OP, UK, Australia, assist, setup, Q. And Q then repeats, UK, Australia, assist, setup. So apparently that's ongoing as well. And then Q3343 is another repeat of another crew from Q from July 28, 2018, number 1745. And Anon posted and said, no, the truth was not revealed yet. FISA didn't have much impact, to be honest, or there was still something missing to it, which reveals the whole truth. Q said, FISA equals start, FISA equal immediate confirmation of illegal acts regarding signers, FISA equal immediate confirmation start of Hussein's spy campaign to rig the election based on false info. FISA implicates Hillary Rodham Clinton, Democratic Party as feeders or false info with the intent of securing MSM plus blast insurance. And then he emphasizes this one: FISA implicates senior members of UK, MI5, MI6, SIS, US Intel, White House, Five Eye, Republican Party, Congress, Senate of known corruption in effort to retain power and rig elections, safeguard events by political kill to act while in power, given MSM fake push Russian narrative. FISA equal ties MSM heads TV behind corporation to Democratic Party, other foreign heads of state in co-op strategy. FISA brings down the House. Freedom of Information Act does not include FISA, declassed by POTUS, key parts that factually demonstrate the dirty fake dossier was used as primary source to secure highest level of intel spying on primary Republican opponent, plus post-election intel assets for domestic spying on the President of the United States for the office of the presidency of the United States of America. Logical thinking, public awareness, foundation built, humor, uh, no spelling errors intended, mobile unknown if above Q, and Q acknowledges that as being, yep, that's it. That's what's happening. Q3344, and Anon posted a question. He said, Q, what about the Comey report? Q says, moves, counter moves. Misdirection sometimes creates one person to turn on another publicly. Now you'll notice that Q posted earlier on, he posted and said that C comes before D. All right. All right. In other words, Comey, and they were in kill boxes. Comey comes before D class. That was a misdirection. The D class came first. Also, we might consider when it says C comes before D, CD, Camp Delta, Gitmo. Okay. But they turned it around. Misdirection sometimes creates one person to turn on another publicly. And they've been eating their own. They've been turning on each other. You've probably seen some of that. And he says, see the kill box coming soon. Q. Okay, Q3345 is a movie theater thing. You know what you see in the movie theater for the FISA gate. Remember, Q said, "Hold it, honey." Remember, Q says, "We're watching a movie." So this is the one for FISA gate, and then Q3346 Shows all 5 of them. One for a movie called 45, that's with Trump's picture on it, President Trump's picture on it. One called Tarmac, that's about the Tarmac meeting. One called FISA okay. One called Trump 2020, and then the other one called Sanctions Coming. Enjoy the show. Q. And last but not least, hold on a second, sweetie. And last but not least, we have Q3347. And he says, this was this morning, this came out this morning, and it says, why did POTUS circumvent DNI, Department of National Intelligence, okay, codes, normal protocol for D class, and give the authority directly to Attorney General Barr? Q. I'll leave that one for you to ponder. And that is the Q's for tonight. Nuclear Warrior, back to you.
Thank you, Preacher. And for you folks that have a curiosity for the Q drops, I've got three. Will help you find your way through these Q drops. The first one is QMAP, QMAP.pub, QMAP.pub. The second one is QAnon, QANON.pub. And the last one, the third one, is QProofs.com. The Q proofs will lead you into some interesting territory there for you folks that are new to following the Q drops. It gives you a bit of information on how to decode. Some of the keys for decoding are not published because we want to keep the deep state on the edge and not give them the information that they so desire. So yeah, those will be interesting sites for you to check out. And I'm particularly interested in that 3346 with the 5 upcoming show posters in front of the theater. This is going to be an interesting time in which we live, folks. I had a message here from one of the followers there in the MeWe site that the social media platform, the link for voicing your complaints if you've been censored by the social media platforms, the link was kind of a misdirect and it didn't go anywhere. I followed the link. It took me to a web page, and from there I found the link to the bias story sharing tool, which is what the White House is calling this thing. So yeah, you have to go through 2 or 3 clicks to actually get to the page. The person that posted the question, I gave them the link directly, so they shouldn't have any trouble with it. Let's see, what else have we got? I think that's just about it. Anybody else have anything they want to add?
I want my Aunt Annie to call me, Annie Horton.
Okay, Faith, we'll have Annie Horton give you a call if Annie Horton is listening. I think with that, if the preacher is ready, I'll have him do the closing prayer. Then I'll do some closing remarks. So stand by for a second. Let me see if he's ready.
I'm ready.
Very good, preacher. Closing prayer, if you please.
All right, here we go. Lord Jesus, we come before you right now. Thank you, Lord, for this another opportunity that we've had to come here and do this show and bring this much needed information to our listeners. We're thankful that they stopped by to listen to us again tonight and that they do so much and have done so much to support what we try to do here. We ask you to bless them. We ask you to bless this group. You already have in many ways in the last few days. Bless this group here, still working to try to do what we can for our commander and continue to do the job that we do. We ask you, Lord, to bless our president. Continue to watch over him as he is now in Japan. We're thankful for the events that are unfolding before us now, the FISA D class and so on and so forth. And we know this is your agenda, Lord, and we ask you to speed up the process and bring down the hammer, bring your justice to these wicked people that have tried to destroy this great country. We ask, Lord, to continue with us now throughout this night and into the coming days. Continue to guard us, and direct us, and draw us ever closer to one another and ever closer to Thee. Would be our prayer in Jesus' holy name. Amen and amen. Thank you, Lord.
Amen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you stopping by to share an hour with us this evening. The numbers have been coming in from the shows all along, and we're maintaining a large number of our previous followers. Those that have decided to move on and found it unpopular to be associated with the United Constitutional Patriots in light of the treasonous acts of the governor of the state of New Mexico and her cabinet, and of the ACLU, the Anti-American Criminal Liberties Union. You are welcome to come back if you feel like you would like to get caught up on the real news. I don't know if you folks realize this, but the mainstream media is giving you the left-biased news, extreme left in most cases. I'm going to give you a couple of videos to watch on YouTube. It's going to explain a whole lot that's going on that you're not seeing in the mainstream media. First video is called Killing the Mockingbird. You can find it on YouTube. Just put Q-Killing the Mockingbird in the search bar, and it should take you right to it. And then there's a second one that's called Q-We Are the Plan YouTube. Q-We Are the Plan. It's kind of an update, and it's really an eye-opener about where we currently are in the world's system of politics and government pressures, et cetera, et cetera. Two very good videos that should, if nothing else, spark your curiosity to dig a little deeper. And I would highly encourage you to do so. In the meantime, stay vigilant, stay prepared, because as these things start happening from the Q drops and from the FISA document release and the D class, there's going to be some mass confusion around the country, I'm afraid. There's some talk about a martial law implementation. Now, that should not be taken as a fear-mongering factor. The martial law is to protect the citizens while they round up the criminals. Keep that in mind if you hear that martial law is going to be implemented. It's not that they're coming after you. Citizens of the United States, law-abiding citizens, it's the criminal element that they're after, those that have been involved in trying to push this coup to overthrow a duly seated president and change the government. Just something to be aware of. Pay attention to your surroundings. If you see something, say something. Something doesn't look quite right, bring it to someone's attention, because it could be a piece of information that they're unaware of. Could be very important towards national security, or at least the security of your town or city, county, or state. Again, folks, thanks for joining us. I'm the Nuclear Warrior. I'll be moderating these radio programs until we get the commander out of incarceration and back into the program. So God bless you all. Have a very safe and very happy Memorial Day weekend. Keep those in mind, the families of those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. And remember that the tree of freedom must from time to time be nourished with the blood of tyrants and patriots. It's their natural manure. God bless you all, and have a great evening.
Thanks for joining the United Constitutional Patriots Radio Show. Our next show will be on Monday at 6 p.m. Mountain, 5 p.m. Pacific. I want to say God bless all you Patriots and have a great weekend.